Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Light Up Virtual Conference. Happy to have you here. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon in whatever part of world you are. So today I'll be presenting about how to use Graph APIs via custom connectors in Power Automate. So let's go ahead and start the session. So first thing, like if you can donate for this for the support of this event. This is the reason, one of the reasons why this event has been organized. So even if you can do $1, it still counts a lot. So please donate for to support the COVID affected children. Big thanks to sponsors without whom this event cannot be possible. So very much appreciated all the help from the sponsors. A little bit about me. I am Anna Javeri. I worked as a tech lead at Soho Dragon. I'm also the managing partner and the owner of Soho Dragon India division. My background is like I was a developer in start of my career. Then I turned into a solution architect. I started my career working with SharePoint, so that's what I have been doing since last 10 to 12 years, along with Office 365 and Power Platform lately. So currently my role is a mix of tech lead, project delivery manager, and a trainer for Office 365 and SharePoint. So here is my Twitter handle and my blog if you want to know a little more about me and learn something about Power Automate and other SharePoint related blogs that I have written. As I told you about me, I would also like to know about the audience, like whom do we have in this session today? Just write it in your question window, whether you are an administrator, power user, or developer. That is how I can like design my session on the fly for the audience. So if you can put it like whether you are a power user or administrator, developer, or something else, just put it out on the window, type it, and put it on the Q&A. So that helps me to identify the audience. Today's agenda. So we'll take an overview of what custom connectors are. Then why custom connectors are needed. So we'll understand that. Then we'll review the like high level steps in order to create custom connectors. Then as we are using Graph API in the demo of this session, then I'll show you like how to do app registrations for Graph API in Azure AD that we'll use in our demo. Then we'll do a live like build from the scratch custom connector demo in Power Automate. And what are the licensing requirements for like creating custom connectors? Like when you're working with Power Automate and when you're working with Power Apps, licensing is like you need to understand before you start building out something, so that you don't end up using something that is not included in license. Sometimes trial gets enabled by default, and then in the start you can use things which are not included in your actual license, and then it will expire in like within a month or two, and then you are screwed up. So we'll understand what are the license requirements of using the custom connectors. All right, so custom connectors overview. So what is a connector? Like in Power Automate or Power Apps or Azure Logic Apps, what is a connector? Connector is like an wrapper around API. So it's uh, in shell, it is like an API which runs in your tool, whatever it is, whether it is Power Automate, Power Apps, or Azure Logic Apps. So it provides user to connect to their products and services. So that, for example, if I want to connect to SharePoint, if I want to connect to Outlook, or if I want to connect to Salesforce, so that's what connector helps user to connect with, right? So there are already some pre-built actions and triggers which are connectors available in Power Apps or Power Automate you are working with. But there could be a scenario where you want to connect to a service or a product which is not available in pre-built connectors. And that's what we'll understand what to do in that scenario in this session today. So custom connectors address a scenario where something is not available as a pre-built connector. So you'll build your own connector to do that, okay? So you can do your own trigger or you can do your own actions and triggers. What are those? Those are connectors available in Power Automate, Power Apps, or Logic Apps. So custom connection behind the scenes, what it is a Swagger file. So if you are from a developer background, you'll understand this more. So Swagger is like the older name for Open API. So in the end, like behind the scenes, what custom connector is, it is a Swagger definition file. It is a JSON file which contains all the details about the custom connector. So now we'll understand why you would use custom connectors. Why do you need to create custom connectors? So first, that I just told, that if something that does not exist in pre-built connector, for example, you are using some internal, like a service which is developed internally by your development team, and you want to use that in your Power Apps or Power Automate, then there could be a connector which, for example, Graph API, the demo that we are doing. So Graph API for a citizen developer or power user, it might get overwhelming to use Graph API using HTTP actions. So what you can do in this scenario is, like, you can provide ease of use, which is our second reason why to use custom connectors. So you can hide all the complexities of using Graph API from the end user while they are designing the flows. So it's easy for them to use Graph APIs rather than using HTTP actions along to call the Graph API. So you remove that API configuration layer for the users who are configuring your flows. Also, in a scenario where your license applies to Microsoft 365 license, you don't have like any Power App or Flow plan 1 or plan 2, and still you want to use Graph API, then at least you can create one custom connector for your Graph API. So that would, otherwise you won't be able to call Graph API because the Microsoft 365 license does not include premium connectors. So you can't call Graph APIs using HTTP actions. So, but at least when you have Microsoft 365 license, you can create one custom connector, and then that one custom connector would you would use Graph API to do it. So at least for one scenario, you can use Graph API for your flows and Power Apps. And also for Microsoft partners who are building extensible ways for their customers, like if you want to build connectors for your customers, like available to all users who are using Microsoft 365 Power Automate or Power Apps. So as a partner, you can build like custom connectors which are available to all users. So what are the steps to create custom connectors? So here we'll understand like what needs to be done in order to create custom connectors. So first is that you need to identify like what API you want to like build this custom connector for. So if the API does not exist, then first, out of Power Automate and Power Apps background, you need to build API in your environment, like determine what you want your API to do and write that logic in your API and build the API. Once your API is built, like it is doing what you want it to do, you need to secure that API using, we have three options here. You can use OAuth 2.0, or you can use basic authentication, the username and password one, or you can use the API key, which is the simplest available option. And also secure then basic authentication, right? So build your API, then secure it with the authentication mechanism that the custom connector supports. Once that is done, you need to define your API in a Swagger file or open API JSON format. So once that API is defined, you create a custom connector, or you can skip the define API step and you can directly create custom connector from the Power Automate or Power Apps UI. So when you create a custom connector from UI, you will provide some general information about the connector. Then you will provide the actions, what actions the connector will do, and you will also provide if you want that connector as a trigger, then you will provide the trigger details of the custom connector. Once you have built your custom connector and tested it and it works fine, then you will use that connector in your Power Automate flows or Power apps or Azure Logic apps. You can also share connectors with other users in your organization. And as a Microsoft partner, if you want to share the connector with all the users, like the users outside your tenant or all the customers who can use the connectors from the store, then you need to get your connector certified. So Microsoft will review your connector and certify your connector, after which it can be available in the connector store. Okay, so these are like the steps, the high level steps to build your custom connector. No questions. I don't see any questions so far. So I hope this makes sense. Like if you have any questions, just put it out in the questions window. All right, so what does custom connector consist of? So it consists of some general information like the name of the connector and the description, the icon of the connector, and also the security details, whether the connector implements the open, the OAuth2 or API key or basic authentication security. So you specify those security details while you configure the connector. Then you also specify the connector definition, that what the connector will do, whether connector is an action which can get or post the data using the API, or whether it is a trigger. That trigger is kind of a connector where your flow will be triggered based on whatever action occurs, or it is a polling trigger, which you will discuss in next slides. You can also specify references, like if you are using multiple actions in your connector, you can use references in your connectors to minimize your Swagger file. And you can use policies, like if you want to use some runtime values in your connectors, which are provided by user from the flow, then you need to use policies, which we'll discuss in next slides in detail. All right, so what general information of connector needs to be provided while creating a new connector? So one is you provide the title of the connector, then you can maintain versions of the connector, provide the description, what the connector does. Then you provide the host, like if you are using Graph API, then we provide graph.microsoft.com, or if you are using your own API, you provide whatever host name the API uses. Then you provide scheme details and base path details from which the API starts. Then you provide the security details based on the authentication type selected, like the authentication types which I recently mentioned, which are like the API key or OAuth2 or using a basic authentication. Then we come to actions. What are actions in custom connectors? So actions are the activities that allow you to pull data from a service, like service which is an API, or push data to a service. So you can the verb that are available to be used to configure the actions are get, delete, post, head, options, and batch. Then you need to specify an endpoint URL while you are configuring an action. You can also provide your own custom headers, which needs to be part of that HTTP request. You can provide the body of the payload, which will be appended to the HTTP request when this endpoint is called. And you can also provide the response details, like it is good to provide the success and the failure responses, like by default what success and failure responses would be returned back to the flow when using this action. And then that was about actions. Now let's understand what trigger options are available while configuring a custom connector. So what are triggers? Like triggers like automatically invoke a connector in specific event. So there are two types of trigger. One is polling trigger and other is webhook trigger. So polling trigger is kind of a trigger which periodically calls an API at specified frequency. So if I like check every 5 seconds or check every minute, so it would poll the API, whatever API we have configured as a trigger, to see to determine what next action needs to be done. And then we have another type of trigger, which is a webhook. Like webhook will be fired when an event happens. So it is kind of an HTTP callback. So whenever a specific event happens, your flow will be called if the flow is using your webhook trigger. So triggers are a little bit complex to configure as a custom connector. So I would recommend that we first learn how to configure actions for custom connectors. And then the next step would be, when you're comfortable creating actions for custom connectors, then you go to learning how to configure triggers, because they are fairly complex than actions. So today in this session, we'll learn how to create actions for your custom connectors. Okay. All right, no questions so far. I don't see any questions. I hope whatever I'm conveying is making sense to you all. Any questions, just put it on the question window. All right. All right, so we also have references while we configure custom connectors. So references are useful when building multiple actions. If you are adding multiple actions in your custom connectors, that's where references help. So what does reference do? It supports reusability of definition. So for example, if you are using a definition in your Swagger file that is for your custom connector, that's where you can use like the hash ref tag in order to reference the definitions. So this is only available when you edit the Swagger definition of your custom connector. So you need a little bit of knowledge of Swagger and OpenAPI and JSON in order to use references, because you need to edit the Swagger definition. You can't do this from UI, but this helps you minimize the size of your Swagger definition of custom connector. So that, and also when you are making changes across multiple actions, and if you are using references, you have to make lesser changes in the Swagger definition as compared to not using references. So this is kind of a reusability, like in developer perspective, you can think of like common functions kind of a thing, or constants kind of a thing, which in developer world you can. All right, then what are policies when you configure custom connectors? So policies, for example, if you want to use some runtime variables from the user in the flow, so that is how you can use policies in your for that purpose. To use runtime options for your custom connector, you need to use policies. So policies are already being used by the out-of-box connector, the pre-built connector, which we already have in Power Automate or Power Apps. So the way the pre-built actions pre-built connectors use policies, that way the custom connector also can use policies to provide runtime values to the custom connectors. So for example, when you configure host URL for your custom connector, it won't allow you to put any dynamic values in the host URL, but then you can configure a policy to add a dynamic dynamic parameter to your host URL. So that's how policies are used. So for example, if you want to use some query string parameters, you can also use policies for that. All right, so that was about like what are actions, what are triggers, and what are references, and what are policies in custom connectors. Now let's see what we are going to do in today's demo. All right. So what we'll cover in the demo. So we will not build a secure and define the API as we are using Graph API. So we have an API already built for us. So this yellow part we are not going to do. So we are using Graph API and then define custom connectors, use connector, and share connector. This is what we are going to do in our demo. Certify connector, like we don't want our connector to be available for public users. We just want the internal users of organization to use this connector. So we are not doing that today. So what we'll learn in our session, in our demo today, is like how to define a custom connector from scratch from Power Automate UI. Then once your connector is created, how will you use your connector in your flows, and then how to share the connector. Okay. All right, so let's jump to the demo. Any questions so far? I don't see any questions coming up. All right. So here first, I assume that you are a little bit familiar with Graph API Explorer. So here I'm using Graph API Explorer. So the example that I have picked up for the demo today is using Graph API from your custom connector. So what our Graph API will do? So here the Graph API that we are using will get the user's detail from Azure AD. So it will get the users from Azure AD based on the filter that is provided by user. So here I'm using Graph API to get the users with this specific filter. So I can get users by department or by job title or any other attribute I want to use to filter out the users. So this is the query I have written here in Graph API. I'll run this query. So you see here it has written me some data. So it has written me 2 users here. This users are written from Azure AD by the Graph API. So we'll use this example Graph API in our custom connector today. So let's jump to Power Automate and let's see how to create a custom connector. All right, so in order to create custom connectors, I'm in the Power Automate application like admin. I'll go to custom connectors available under data menu. All right, so I have created some of sample connectors here. So in order to create new connectors, I need to go to new custom connector option here. So there are quite a few options available here. First is to create from blank, which is create from scratch. Then I can import an Open API file or Postman connection file, which is like the JSON file. So if I have that JSON file which defines all the attributes of my custom connector, then I can already import it. But today we'll learn how to create it from UI. Okay. So I'll use the option create from blank. I'll provide the name of my connector. So for example, light up session demo 1. Okay, I'll go and continue. Now I realize that as we are using Graph API, we also need to define application registration for our Graph API, right? So let's first jump on creating the application registration for our Graph API, which we'll use in this connector. So here I have Azure portal open. I am in the Azure Active Directory. So in Active Directory, I'll click on app registrations. I already have some app registrations defined. Let me create a new one. Oops. So I will see light up conference demo one. All right. So I just want this. API to be used by users of my directory. So I'll leave this option default. We will provide the redirect URL later in the steps. So let's revisit that afterwards. So I'll click on the register option. So here you can see my app registration is created. So once the app registration is created, there are few other steps to be done, which we'll do now. Just observe, we have application ID here, we have tenant ID here, we have redirect URI to be configured. So first we'll configure the API permissions, because that is the most important, like what permissions does our Graph API need, right? So we will add the permissions. Now for this demo, what we want to do is we want to read user details. We want to get users of specific department, of specific department and specific job title, right? So we will use Microsoft Graph. We will use dedicated permissions because I'm still using the version 1 of Graph API. So I'll use dedicated permissions. So delegated permissions is the Graph API will use the underlying user account in order to execute the API. So it will use my account as I'm building the flow. It will use my account, or I can configure a service account to execute this connector. Okay, so I will need the user.read all because I want to read every user's profile based on whatever filters, whatever users are written as per the filter. So I'll click on add permissions. So I've added the permissions required for my Graph API. Now this API requires admin consent. So for some of the permissions that we use in our Graph API may require admin consent. So it is very, very important that we grant the admin consent. Otherwise, it will not work. So if you don't have admin permissions, like I'm the global admin for this demo tenant, that is why I'm able to do it myself. But if you are not able to do it by yourself, you need to ask someone who has the permissions to do it. Okay. So let me grant admin consent for this permission. It will ask me, do I want to grant the consent? I'll say yes. Okay, so it has granted the permissions. Now, I'll also grant permissions. This does not require grant permissions, but still I'll go ahead and do it. All right, so I have I have used user.read and user.read all permissions. Those are like type of dedicated permissions, as I'm still using the Graph 1.0 version of the API. And I'm using the dedicated permission, granted the admin consent. Now let's go to the next step. So in order to use this Graph API, we will need to configure, we'll need to use the client ID and the client secrets. We can also use certificate, but that is a little bit complex to do. So for this demo, I'm using client secret, which is also as secure as using the certificate. So I'll create a new secret. I need to provide the description. This is for Graph API. I'll configure it to expire never. So, and then add. One most important step here is while you create a new client secret, copy it and put it somewhere. just now. Right now I'm just putting it in Notepad, but if I browse away from this screen, I'll not be able to copy this again, because this value is visible only for this point of time. It will not be visible again. If you want to again copy it, then you will need to create a new secret. Okay, so the ideal thing to do is like copy this value from the client secret and store it in your Azure Key Vault. Okay, so that's the most secure way of storing the client secret. So what we have done, we've created an app registration. We have configured the API permissions for our Graph API. We have created a client secret. So the only thing pending for this application in our Azure AD is to configure the redirect URI. So which we'll do in our latest steps. Now let's go back to Power Automate where we were creating the custom connector. All right, so here I am in Power Automate, and I clicked on create a custom connector from a blank option, and that is how I came down to this screen. Now here I can configure, like this is the default icon, so I can configure my custom connector to use a custom icon. So when this is very useful to do when you have a lot of connectors. So in order to easily identify your connector, it is really useful that you use connector icons for your different connectors, different icons for different connectors. So your users can easily identify what from the icon itself. Okay, so you can also configure like the background color of your connector. Currently, I'm just providing the description. So light up of connector. All right. If I want to connect to some on-premises API, then you need to use this option like connect via on-premise data gateway. But as we are using Graph API, we don't need to do that. Make sure the scheme is selected as HTTPS. And here in the host, as we'll be using Graph API, we'll provide the graph.microsoft.com as our host. All right, the base URL, I'll leave it as it is. Now, if you are using some other API other than Graph, so you need to provide the host name of whatever API that you are using. Okay, then I'll go to the security section. Next, security section. All right, so here I need to specify authentication type. Now, as we are using Graph API, we'll select the OAuth 2 option. Then we'll select the identity provider as Azure Active Directory. Now here I need to provide some details about the graph. The client ID and client secret, login URL, and we'll leave the tenant ID as it is, resource URL, and the scope. All right, so let me go and get the client ID. This is our application that we created in Azure AD for the Graph API. I will copy this client ID, copy to clipboard. All right, the client ID, the client secret, I had copied it in Notepad. Let me just paste it. All right, in resource URL, we will use HTTPS graph Microsoft.com. We will leave scope blank. Now at this point, click on create connector. All right, any questions so far? So this is saving my connector and it will load it again. So here this is giving me this redirect URL. So I need to copy this URL and provide it in my application registration redirect URI. So here is my application in Azure AD. I click on the redirect URI option. I'll click on that. I'll do add platform. I'll select the web. So, and I'll provide the redirect URI here. So after providing this redirect URI, I need to click on the configure option. All right, so we are all set with all the settings. We are completed doing all the settings in our Azure AD for the application registrations. So what all settings did we do? Like just doing a quick recap on what all settings did we do in Azure AD for our Graph API is we created an application registration. Then we added API permissions. Then we did grant admin consent for these permissions. After doing that, we created a secret, right? You see now I can't copy the secret and I can't see the secret. So it is very important, like when you create the secret, you copy it and store it. Like best like destination to store it is Azure Key Vault. Okay, so copy it and store it in Azure Key Vault. So our secret is generated. Now go back to overview and you can go back to like configuring the connector. Once you are on the security tab, you configured your security details, you can create the connector and copy this redirect URL and you will configure the redirect URL here. Okay. Here is our redirect URL. So this is the important step, otherwise your Graph API will not work from your flow. So the security details for our custom connector are, we are done with configuring that. Now let's go and define what our connector will do, right? We haven't done that. So we need to define like what is the purpose of our connector, what this connector will do. So we want this connector to query Graph API to get users as per the filter condition provided by the users. Okay, so we are not using triggers in our custom connector because we want this connector only to get data and return the data from Azure AD. So for this scenario, we will do new action. So whenever we create a new action, we need to provide some generic details about that action. We need to provide the request and the response details. And this is the validation section, which helps you like whether you have configured your action correctly or not. So as I haven't configured anything yet for this new action, this validation section is showing me the errors that I have not defined operation ID, I have not defined the path, I have not defined the summary, the description is also not defined. That is why the errors here, and that is why the red icon here. So this will go away as we go on configuring our action. Okay, so we will call this light up demo get users. This is our summary. So this is some short description of the get users demo. All right, so this operation ID, this needs to be unique, but this needs to be unique within this custom connector. So it is not unique. This does not need to be unique globally, but within this connector, this needs to be unique. So for example, if I add 4 actions in my custom connector, then the operation ID amongst those 4 actions needs to be unique. Okay, so that is why it says unique string for this connector. So let's say operation ID is like that. And this is the visibility. This will be used for Power Automate, whether you want your action to be shown in advanced section or if you want to show as an important action. Okay, so we'll leave default option for this now. Now you want to specify like what API you want to call for this connector, right? So that's what you will configure in the request section. So I'll click on import from sample. So as I just want to get details about the users, I'll use the verb as get. Then I need to provide the URL of our Graph API. So initially I showed you this, we had a Graph Explorer open. So I'll copy the API from Graph. So this is the Graph API. Now I don't have any custom headers to be provided for my API, but if you are using your own API and it requires you to provide any custom headers, you can provide it. So I've configured the options here. So I'll click on import. So you see here, this is using the Graph API to get the users. Then it is using the query string, which is filter. Now, did you notice that we don't have options to uh, add query string parameters? So while you are doing the URL, that's where you will need to specify your query string parameters, because on UI you don't have option to add new query string parameters. But I can certainly edit the parameters which I added to the URL. So I added the filter parameter to my URL. So I can click here and edit the details of this parameter. So if I want to provide description, summary, and default value for this parameter, then I can provide it. Then I can like, is the value required for this parameter or not? So I'm not making it mandatory as of now. Then I can also configure the data type of this parameter. So let's keep the default options here. So I don't want to edit those. Now, once after configuring the request part of the action, we'll define the default part. So default response. So what it could be your default response is, I'll add a default response here, and I'll go to my Graph Explorer again, and I'll copy this response, the response which I got in the body of my Graph API after running the query. And this could be my default response for the custom connector. And I'll click on import. So here my default response is added. I can click on it, and you can see the body is configured with all the parameters given here, which I copied it from here. See the given name and job title and mail and mobile phone. So all those are configured here. So that is how you can provide default response for your custom connector. And as you see, the validation has now succeeded. So when we added the action without providing all these parameters for our action, it was showing us a red exclamation here and errors in the validation. Now that has gone because we have configured all required values for our action. Okay. So like we are ready to go with our custom connector. So we have configured it to use Graph API to get the users. So we have done all the required configuration, and I'll click on update connector option here, button here. So this will update my definition, the actions that which I configured here. All right, any questions so far? So now as we have created the connector, I will test it. So for testing it, I need to select new connection option here. New connection, it will ask me to sign in. Then it will ask me to provide the filter value, which was our connection string. Now let me copy this. I'll copy it and I'll do test operation. So hooray, see, we have our custom connector configured to give us the details of the users with this filter, whose department starts with I and job title starts with S. So whatever like the filter you want to provide, you can provide it here. So I'll click on update connector again, and I'll close this. So you see our custom connector, we have it here. Now let's quickly go into a flow and use this. So I can show you, like I'll create instant flow. I'll create manual trigger for this flow, and let's click on new step. And here under custom tabs, we will see all our custom connectors. Okay, so this is the one that we created here, the custom connector, and we only created one action under that custom connector. So I only have one action. So if I had defined 5 actions for that flow, I would be able to see 5 actions here. So this is how you can leverage the custom connectors. Again, I'll provide the filter values here, and let's save this flow. and let's test it. I'll perform the trigger action, save and test. Continue and run the flow. Okay, our flow has run. This is the run history, and see here we have the results, right? So I can further configure our flow to use this data. So I'll show you examples on how to use this. Okay, so I'm running a little late on time, so I'll just speed up now. So we did a demo on how to use Graph API from custom connectors. Like for first we created a Graph API for use in Power Automate. So we will get users using Graph API as per the filter query from Azure AD. Then we created an application registration. We added API permissions like user.read all dedicated, and then we granted admin consent on those permissions. We created a client secret. Then we provided the redirect URL to be configured later. All right, then we went to Power Automate to create the custom connector. We provided icon, image, background color, and description. We select the scheme as HTTPS. Then we provided host as graph.microsoft.com and leave other settings at default. Then we configured security for our connector, which is OAuth 2. We selected identity provider as Azure AD, provided client ID, client secret, and the resource URL. And we created the connector and copied the redirect URL, which will be used in app registrations, redirect URI. Okay. Then we went ahead and configured the action for our custom connector. So we provided the user's API URL in the action. Then we provided sample response and we updated the connector. Okay. Then we tested our connector. So while testing your connector, it will ask for your account login. It will ask to accept the permissions dialog after the login. Then you need to provide the filter condition for your Graph API and test operations, and it should succeed at this step. So what are the practical uses of the scenario which I showed you, like using Graph API from custom connector? Now, one of the reason why I would use this is because like if I'm using Microsoft 365 and I don't have a Power Automate or Power Automate or Power Apps Plan 1 and Plan 2, then I cannot use HTTP actions in my Power Automate flow. So how do I use Graph API in that scenario? So as part of Microsoft 365 license, I can at least create one custom connector. So I'll create that one custom connector as part of the Microsoft 365 license. I'll add multiple actions in my custom connectors to call Graph API. Okay, so that's how it becomes handy to get data from using Graph API in your Power Automates and Power Automate or Power Apps, even if you don't have access to use custom premium connectors due to the license issues. Okay, because you won't have Power App Plan 1 and Plan 2 to use the premium connectors like HTTP. So where you can use this type of data, like we've got users from Azure Active Directory based on some filter. So for example, if my approval in Power Automate requires users of specific department to approve something, then I can use this example shown in the demo. If I want to send email to users of specific department, then I can use this scenario, like getting users of specific department from AD and then sending emails. Now, if I'm using Power App and I have a people picker in my Power App and I want to show the filtered users in that people picker, then I can use this custom connector in Power App. So these are some practical uses of the scenario that I showed you in this demo. So what are the license requirements? Now, for Power Apps and Power Automate, number of custom connectors you can create in free plan is 1. In Office 365 or Dynamics 365 plan 1, but you can add multiple actions. So if you create one custom connector and add multiple actions to call different Graph APIs. And if you have plan 1 and plan 2, you are free to use unlimited number of custom connectors. And number of requests you can make to custom connector per minute is 500 requests, which is, I think, is fair enough. You won't reach the limits of 500 requests a minute. All right. So what are the next steps? Now what, after learning to create a custom connector in Power Automate using UI for actions, what are the next steps you should learn? So for developers, I would recommend to learn the Swagger file, like what are the underlying Swagger details in the custom connector to define the custom connector. So you will get more options to build advanced connectors in the Swagger file. The UI is limited. It does not have all the configuration options like references, right? So learn that Swagger file, like what details are to be provided, what different details you can provide, how you can optimize the Swagger file options, okay, in the JSON. Then once you are like comfortable creating actions in your custom connectors, you can now switch to creating triggers. All right. So trigger are little complex to create. So here are links I have provided from Microsoft documentation for you to get started to create a poll or a webhook trigger. And then once you are also like policy templates, you can start creating once you are comfortable creating basic custom connectors, because policy templates are also a little complex. So first learn the basics of creating custom connector, and then you can jump to these details. All right. So yeah, thank you for joining this session. So any questions, I'm happy to answer. Also, you can reach me out on Twitter, Anna Jhaveri, my contact details. Let me just open that quickly. So you can reach me out on Twitter, or you reach me out on blog or LinkedIn if you have any questions or anything related to Power Platform, anything related to SharePoint. I will be happy to help you on whatever doubts you may have, as I believe sharing is caring. All right. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the sessions. Do provide your valuable feedback. Like it's very important for the organizers to and the speakers to know the feedback on how they did. So please provide your valuable feedback, whether it is bad or wrong. It will help the organizers and speakers to improve. So thank you for attending the session again, and I hope you have a great day ahead. Thank you.